So, hello everyone. As you know, my name is Rex. I'm your guide, tutor, and friend. So, today's question is about typecasting. So, this is the question. So, guys, as you know, typecasting is the process of converting a value from one data type to another data type, and it is the fundamental concept of Java because different data types often need to interact with each other while performing calculations, storing values, or passing data between variables and methods. And we can say that typecasting helps in ensuring that the values are stored in a compatible data type and operations can be performed correctly. And Java provides two types of primitive typecasting: implicit typecasting, explicit typecasting. And this type of casting used depends on whether the conversion is from a smaller data type to a larger data type or from a larger data type to a smaller data type. You should remember that this will help you in understanding these two types. So, implicit typecasting. This implicit typecasting is also known as widening typecasting, and it is the automatic conversion of a smaller data type into a larger data type. And you should know this conversion is performed automatically by the Java compiler because the larger data has enough memory to store all values of the smaller data type without losing any information. This can be a great difference between implicit and explicit typecasting, so remember that. And since there is no risk of data loss or loss of precision, here programmer does not need to use the casting operator. And because that widening typecasting makes the Java programs simpler, safer, and easier to write because compiler handles the conversion automatically. And these are some common widening conversions like byte to short, short to int to long, long to float, float to double. You can see the sequence like small to large, this smaller data type into a larger data type, remember. So let's understand this with an example. Assume there is a banking application that stores a customer's account balance as an int because the initial balance is entered as a whole number, and later the bank introduces an interest calculation system that may produce decimal values. So, to perform these calculations accurately, the balance is automatically converted into a double. Since a double can store both whole numbers and decimal values, here Java performs this conversion automatically without any explicit casting. Now, let's understand this also with an example of a code. So, guys, this code is the example of implicit typecasting. Let's understand this. Just take it as an example so you can understand this concept more clearly. Okay, so guys, in this program, the variable account balance is declared as the int and stores the value 25,000, and this value then assigned to a variable update balance which is of type double. And since a double has a larger storage capacity than the int, Java automatically converts the integer value into a double value. As a result, the output displays the 25,000.0, instead of 25,000. This demonstrating that implicit typecasting has occurred successfully without using the casting operator. And hey, this helps in, as you know, in printing the result, and this will be the output. You can just try it on your visual code editor or in Sublime Text or any editor that you used in your system. So now let's talk about explicit typecasting. So guys, explicit typecasting, also known as narrowing typecasting, and it is the manual conversion of a larger data type into a smaller data type. Now you can see a difference between implicit and explicit typecasting. There, what we read, there was a conversion from smaller to larger, and here we learn a manual conversion of a larger data type into a smaller data type. So remember that if you want to write any difference between them in exam. So unlike implicit typecasting, this conversion is not performed automatically because smaller data type may not be store the complete values of the larger data type. Therefore, programmers must explicitly specify the target data type by using the casting operator like bracket type. I will show you in next page. So that was the operator I was talking about. Now, during explicit typecasting, there is a possibility of losing data type or precision. For example, when a decimal value is converted into an integer, the decimal part is removed rather than rounded. And similarly, if the value exceeds the range of the target data type, the resulting value may be incorrect. Apart from that, these are some conversions that you can see: double to float, float to long, long to int to short, short to wide, which means larger to smaller, as you can see. Let's understand this explicit typecasting with a simple real world example. Just assume there is a shopping website which calculates the total payable amount after applying taxes and discounts. And since the calculations includes the decimal values, as you know, the final amount is stored as a double. However, the store wants to print only the whole number amount on a promotional coupon. And in this situation, the double value is explicitly converted into an int, which removes the decimal part and displays only the whole number value. I think now you get it. So here you can see a example, or you can see a code of explicit typecasting. So guys, let's understand this code. In this program, guys, the variable total bill stores the value of 1899.95 as a double, and since an int cannot store decimal value, this value is explicitly converted using the casting operator. This, and during the conversion, Java removes the decimal portion .95 and only stores the whole number 899, which you will see in the output when you try it. And this is stored in I am talking about whole number 1899 into a variable called payable amount. And this example demonstrates the explicit typecasting because here the programmer manually performs the conversion and some information like the decimal part is lost during this process. So guys, that's it for today. Thank you for listening to me. Goodbye.